I'm around Rickmansworth area to take some early morning photography shots of golf course. My mate Macca works there as a greenkeeper, so I don't know if I'm going to see him, but that's the game. And it's only a stone's throw away, and as I used to play golf, I kind of like hanging around in that environment, watching the shots, watching people do what they do. And it's just here, look.
I've done that one.
Done that one. So
Yeah.
just this one is that it?
Crack on. Nothing changes. I was always telling him to crack on.
Have a good one, mate.
See you in a bit.
See you later. See you later,
What are you listening to?
Radio 4, the farming programme.
Mate,
Times have changed, mate.
get a grip. See you later.
It's all right, mate. I'm going to switch over to Kent Bruce soon because he's moved over to...
He has. Yes. To wherever it is.
Mate, Greatest Hits Radio. Brilliant.
We've stopped watching Radio 2.
Radio 2's gone, mate.
Yep.
Greatest Hits Radio from now on.
Yeah, and also Simon Mayo's over there.
Drive time.
Drive time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, loving it.
So we are converts to...
Greatest Hits Radio, mate.
I didn't know what it was. Anyway,
See you in a bit.
see you in a
mate.
bit. Bustle of the greenkeepers and the bunker keepers, whatever you call them. Macca was saying that tree's 1500 years old. Not sure if it's alive or even if it's the right tree. His target indication was a little poor. He said to me, see that tree over there? Which one, Macca? Come on, switch on. And he goes, oh, up there. See that knoll? Right, 1 o'clock. Okay, now I get it. So that was the wrong tree, but I'm looking for this tree that's 1500 years old. He said from where he was, 250, right, 1 o'clock, tree. You could see the canopy, so it's clearly got some leaves on it. Let's go and have a look. There's another tree up there. I don't know if you can see it on this thing. Let's take a photo of it. That could be 1500 years old too. Ah! Ah! Oh. I used to love playing golf early in the mornings. Nobody's about really, apart from the greenkeepers, and you could take your time. No one's really rushing you. Clubhouse, some golfers through there, greenkeeper there. Some fishes in here. Now there's a different boat. I saw one like that just past Rickmansworth, which was burnt out or just not usable anymore. I think lick of paint inside doing. I think that'd be quite a nice boat. Clearly someone's got it. Yeah, nice boat when it's finished. Nice colour. Collecting wood for the winter. Canterbury, I haven't seen it this empty for a long time. But so this part appears to be dead. That Canterbury lock took about half hour to fill up. Nightmare. Nightmare. But the sun's still out. And that's all, you know, it's not raining. Can always be a bad day, can't it? Always, always. I've got to reverse because there's a boat coming down and these pounds are particularly shallow. Synonymous, well known. So, yeah, it's always a bit of a nightmare, but it's not as bad as it was last year because we've had some rain this year. Hive of activity going on up there. Said it before that well, there's a wide beam going to pass me in a bit. CRT, these are the undergrowth, these are the foliage things that need cutting back, because actually that wide beam's going to struggle to get past me, and I'm on the lock landing. Now ordinarily he could go straight forward, but he can't go straight forward because the trees are overhanging. Hello, how you doing? All right? You keep it going. No dramas, mate. Have a great day. See you in a bit. Jump off, jump off, jump off. I had a comment from someone in New Zealand who wanted to understand how locks work. Okay, so here we go. Here's lock 101. So the boat's in the lock, as you see. It's tied off-ish. Leaky lock gate. I'm going to open the ground paddle. That's going to allow water to sweep in here and push up against that wall and then hopefully push the boat across. But as you see, it's already moving. So what I need to do is to keep control of the boat so I don't allow a mass gush of water to come in, because the boat will sway out and it will sway back and it will bounce all over the place because there's only my boat in it. Let's see what happens. To be honest, every lock's different, and on this one the boat seems to have, well, not moved an awful lot. Maybe it's the amount of pressure of the water, but generally speaking on my own, I only open that ground paddle and just allow the boat to drift up. But I'm constantly reviewing the situation, constantly understanding what's happening to the boat. Water rises in the pound in this lock thing, When it's the same, you can open the gate because the water pressures have equalised, and that's it. So on generally the lock will take on your own. Do you know what? I should have timed it, shouldn't I? Really, about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how quickly it can fill up. By the time I close all the paddles, which is an example why you should keep the paddles open, the lock had emptied because it's emptying, leaking that side. I'm going to start the generator up today because, well, I need a bit of power, I suppose. So then let's see what I have to do. It's quite easy, I think. I filled it up with fuel, and you need to turn the fuel on. And on this side, need to turn that to choke. And then you just pull this thing, give it a prime, pull the handle, well, on tick over, can barely hear it. Impressive. Now we just need to get some electric plugged in. Here's my lead. It's as long as the boat. Hopefully, I'm going to check that out anyway. The generator's turned itself off, and that's because that flashing light thing's on, because I think there's too much backblast of carbons. So I won't be able to run the generator from the well deck. I need to run it probably on the chopping block. Let's give that a go. Actually, it's not that noisy, which is a good thing. But let's see if it's charging the batteries. 182 amps it's pushing in. Ooh, that's good. That's good. I like that. That means it's not going to be on for long. That is half the time it would take the engine to charge up. That's impressive. When I've got the engine going under there, it's quite noisy on the boat, and the engine produces between 80 and 90 amps, sometimes a little bit more than 90 amps, but not many more than 90 amps. Yeah, that's what the engine produces through the alternator. Generator, okay, it's at the front of the boat, other end of the boat, but you can hear that engine when you're in bed. It's dropped to 136, and sometimes I've got the carbon monoxide thing blowing now because because I had the engine in the well deck, which has filtered through to the boat, so my carbon monoxide thing is blowing. Why is that thing blowing? I can smell petrol in the boat. There's no two ways about it, so that thing does work. But I'm now in the bedroom. Generator's just outside there. Still quieter than the engine. Last time when I said to you, oh, it's a bit thirsty and it's a bit noisy, and that's because it was on the generator was on the stern of the boat, and clearly rattling around in there, proper noisy. Out on the ground, and here we go. That's as noisy as it gets. Now, here's Paul, who's come to see me again. You don't have to, no. Well, I haven't. Some people do.
Yeah.
Are you coming here as the health and safety?
Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. If I was walking down here and I was like, oh.
Well, walk on the bloody path. That's the tow path. That's.
So you can make them with lights on top.
Okay.
What are they called when it doesn't?
All right. So how are you going to knock it in if the light's on top?
You put it on top of it.
Well, you can buy that from B&Q, which is what people generally do.
Obviously, you can't.
Well, no, I don't. I did have a tennis ball on it.
Oh, okay, that's quite good.
But then the tennis ball gets nicked by dogs.
Possibly. I guess it's the same as the cable. They can trip on it as well.
But the cable's orange. Shut up.
Green, orange.
You just don't need friends like Paul knocking about, do you? Look at him inspecting my boat. Captain.
That's brilliant.
Oh, you like that one? You like that?
Did that stay out there the whole time?
Yeah.
That's really clever. Cool.
It's just rained, okay. I've come here to talk about the generator and you're inspecting my boat. I thought that generator's quite quiet. Quiet.
It's relative, isn't it? It's quiet in when you think how much energy it's generating.
Yeah.
Compared to your boat engine.
Yeah.
So if you're the engine running now,
It's quieter than that.
what the engine is.
Yeah. But inside,
Yeah.
it's not.
Oh, okay. So if you're in the boat and the engine's running,
It's quite noisy.
Yeah.
Whereas that,
Is it heavy?
21k.
I think it's brilliant. It's a great idea, isn't it? So you got a 3,000 watt
Yeah.
for any reason?
Advice. I was told plus 2,000.
Okay,
Don't get below 2,000 because that's 3,000 maximum generation. Its constant is 2,800.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like with all this. It's like I recently was looking for a lawnmower, and it's, do you get a petrol lawnmower? Do you get an electric lawnmower? Do you get a plug-in lawnmower? Do you want
Some of you will ask, well, why don't you get yourself one of them power battery bank things? Well, that's because it's a power battery bank and not a generator. I think there's different uses, and if you could afford both, then get both, because I think they both have their uses. The generator I bought because it's a redundancy for the engine. If my engine for whatever reason breaks, like for example the alternator breaks and I haven't got a spare one, I have by the way, but if I didn't have a spare one, without that alternator alternating and generating power, my battery wouldn't charge, and if there's no sun in the sky, for example it's winter time, then I wouldn't get any power. And with the inverter, fridge, freezer going the whole time, I'm going to turn the freezer off next week, see how I cope with that. Only lasts 3 days, 4 at best, which isn't bad when you consider what generates around here. But without a generator, that's going to die. And you know, if my engine broke or something broke in the engine, which means I couldn't turn it on, the ignition broke, whatever, then I've got a bit of time to fix it because I've got a generator that generates power. I'd recommend the Champion. The reason why I bought that, it has a relatively large fuel capacity by comparison to some. It lasts a long time if you're not drawing too much power out of it. The way I use that generator to power my battery, it lasts 4.5 gusting 5 hours, so pretty much a litre of fuel an hour. And also, when it starts generating, the power goes into the battery and it's sucking it all up, and then it regulates itself. So the battery dictates as to how much power is drawn into it through wiggly amps, science, and all that stuff that I cannot understand, do not understand. I'm not even going to go that far. But it's relatively quiet, it's relatively light, it has a high by comparison fuel capacity, and it does what it says on the tin, and for that, great. You know, I've got power. It's a redundancy, hence the reason I bought it. And winter time's coming in. Next week is about water. I've made a decision on the water filtration system. I've been to see one in the week. I'm going to see one that same person later in the week with some science homework that they've done to check out their own water, to see how clean it is. So look forward to that for next week. So until then, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, those of you that have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, give it a go, because I talk about all sorts of stuff to do with narrowboats and life on a narrowboat, only because I live on one. It's not in the back there anyway. Ciao, Papa.